Hey everyone, welcome back to the cafe. Louis V here, sharing with you my latest record haul, my latest vinyl finds. And if you're new to the channel, you are going to be in for a treat because I listen to everything. You're about to get some jazz, rock, new rock, classic rock. There's going to be hip hop in here, some new artists as well. I think that you're in for a real treat. So if you love music, you love finding out about new music, new records, things to look out for, you're in the right spot. I got about 16 or 17 records I'm going to be sharing with you. So let's get into it. Okay, the first one up is one of the most iconic albums of all time, and it's because of the cover primarily. Now, this is typically a record you could find in your dollar bin, but this is the recent reissue. Well, recent is from 2015, and that's Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. This is Whipped Cream and Other Delights with the very iconic album cover. Now, this features Dolores Erickson covered in whipped cream, which becomes very iconic and somewhat controversial. But this album itself was amazing. It's got tracks on there like A Taste of Honey, which became an instant classic. It's such a great track, such a great sound. Now, I gotta tell you, I know that many folks, you can just pick this up in any sort of like dollar bin typically, but I paid a little bit more for this pristine pressing, the remaster reissue. I did have a chance to listen to it, and it sounds fantastic. I'm really happy on the dynamics of it, the great soundstage, could do some spotlighting. I think this is an awesome pressing. Plus, the artwork is really, really, really well done. It's really, really nice, clear, great presentation. So super happy about that one. I know it's an album. If you've been collecting records for a while, you definitely know about that album. But I finally got the remaster, and if you've been thinking about it, it is worth it. Okay, the next up is one that I was really excited to get my hands on. This is Sonny Rollins, and this is A Night at the Village Vanguard. They're just releasing all of these again, right? They just did the Bill Evans ones, UHQR did. Now we got the Sonny Rollins ones coming out. This is the complete masters. And, you know, the tracks on here that are really kind of the tracks to listen to if you're not familiar is The Old Devil in the Moon and A Night in Tunisia. They're the two that I think are really worth giving a stream if you're not familiar with it. Now, this was recorded live at the famous Village Vanguard. It's often regarded as one of Sonny's, greatest live jazz recordings of all time. And what got me excited about this is that it says right here in the print, let's see if we get that in focus there. Right here in the print, this is the first time using the original 7.5 inches per second master tapes. All the other ones that have been done used the 15 IPS tapes, and I forget how the story goes, but everybody thought that they were the original master tapes. All the ones that have been mastered have been using different tapes, and they were looking through some archive photos, and I saw different tapes in the original recording, and they're like, hold on, these aren't the original tapes. And sure enough, lo and behold, there was some 7.5s that have never been cut to vinyl before. So this album is actually the first time you're hearing the music from the original studio master tapes. I think that's so cool. I'm going to be honest with you. I just got this in literally a couple hours ago, so I have not had a chance to spin it. I did get it ultrasonic clean. But I'm super excited to get this on the table. It is mastered by Kevin Gray, pressed at RTI, and is part of the Blue Note Tone Poet series. So you know it's going to sound great. Super excited to get my hands on this one. Another jazz classic here from the Acoustic Sound series is the Diana Krall. This is the Look of Love. This is from 2024. This is the new reissue, which has obviously the self-titled album or song on here, The Look of Love, but also has the very famous Cry Me a River song on here. And if you're not familiar with Diana, she's got this smooth, vocal jazz, very romantic arrangements, really makes this a perfect album to put on just to kind of mellow out after a long day. Now, I will tell you, there's been some grumblings on the internet about this pressing. Some people say that it's got some distortion, some sibilance, etc. I did have some issues with this record. I ran it through the cleaner again. I made sure all my settings on my turntable were done well. And when I played it back the second time, I didn't have any issues. So I don't know if I just played through it and it's self-resolved. I don't know if I just had something off on my turntable. I don't know if just a second cleaning just did it justice, but now I can play this album. Both albums, there's two albums in here. A lot of folks have issues with, I think, side C. My side C sounds fine. So I don't know, maybe I lucked out, maybe I just got myself a really good copy, but this is really, I like it. I think it's a beautiful album. I'll be honest with you, I don't have the original pressing of that. It was one that I was hunting for. Almost bought one at my local until I found out on side D there was a scratch going across the album. They did a play test and it was an audible scratch. So I put it down. That got reissued. I pre-ordered it. The day that it was offered for pre-order, finally have it. Super happy to got it. Okay, one from the AP75. This is from the Acoustic Sounds, Analog Productions, Atlantic 75. This is the Velvet Underground Loaded. This just came out this year, 2024, depending when you're watching this video. And this features some awesome hits in here. Sweet Jane is one that comes to mind. You got Rock and Roll as well. I think, you know, what's cool about this album is that it really marked the band's last album with Lou Reed. It's loaded with accessible rock tunes, but still maintains that classic Velvet Underground edge. Really cool album. This is part of the numbered edition for me. Oh, sorry, pointed to the wrong side. Numbered edition for me as a subscriber to the AP75. You really just can't go wrong with that series as a whole. The AP75 series, fantastic. The Rhino Hi-Fi series has been fantastic. The Bluesville series has been also wonderful. There's a lot of just great series right now. Oh, and the Pablo series. Although the Ella and Pass album, that one definitely has some audible issues in there. I got 2 different copies of that record. I'm having issues on both. Reading comments on Discogs, I'm not alone. So I don't know what is going on with that one. But hey, listen, lots of other great records available, including this one, Mingus. Oh yeah, this is also part of that AP75. Has some tracks on here. The first track, Hog Calling Blues, is a good one. Devil Woman is another great track that you can grab here. And what's cool about this album, what I think stands out the most, is that on here you got Charles playing the piano instead of the bass, and it really does capture his raw energy, his genius as a performer and a musician. You know, is it Mingus's best work? I don't know if that's an oh yeah. It might not be. I think, you know, what albums you enjoy are really subjective, but it is a good album and, of course, done really, really, really well. Next up is a little bit of hip-hop. This comes straight from VMP. It is Ghostface Killah. This is the Big Doe Rehab. Good album, good solid album. You definitely got some tracks on here worth giving a stream. Let me see here. Yolanda's House, I think, is one that I would recommend, and We Celebrate is the other one I would recommend. Those two are the ones that I would go stream if you're not familiar here. And honestly, I'm not a Ghostface like diehard fan. I know this is not an area I go super deep in, but from what I'm understanding, doing a little bit of research here, this is one of the standout albums in his discography. It really does blend, you know, vivid storytelling, soulful beats. I like the album overall. It's a good release from BMP. They really do hip-hop records really, really, really well. And this is definitely one of them. The only thing I have is like, man, the album cover here is all squished to heck. Like, I don't know, it came that way. The album the cover came that way. I was actually really worried that the records inside were going to be warped, but they weren't. So I was happy that they weren't warped. But man, that cover looks like it's been through something. So, but it's not like it's dented or bent or anything like that. It's just a little bit wonky. We'll live with it. It'll be fine. Keeping up with some newer music, got Nicki Minaj here. This is Pink Friday, Roman Reloaded. This came out 2 years ago. No, a year ago, I think 2023. This is the US pressing of the album. It's got the songs that really made her, a global pop rap superstar. And the ones that I would say is Bees in the Trap and Starships are the two songs that I think are worth giving a spin if you want to dive into some Nicki Minaj here. But got a fun album, lots of, very colorful album. Sounds pretty good as well, so it's nice to have that one added to the collection. Okay, this next one up, I grabbed this at my local. I mentioned on another record haul video that my local got traded in a bunch of records, rock records, from the 70s all the way up to the early 2000s. Most of these records were in mint condition, still in a shrink. Just fantastic examples of these like classic rock albums, and some really hard to find stuff. And this was one of them that was in that collection that I grabbed. This is Heart self-titled album. This is the OG from 1985, it's the original press. And this obviously has some bangers on here. You got What About Love is the first one that comes to mind. And These Dreams is also another great song track on here. But man, just check this out. This record is, it's in perfect condition for being a 1985. You really, honestly, you can't go wrong. Let me show you what I mean about how meticulous this record collector was. First off, do you notice even any corner dents? No, you don't. It's a perfectly clean record in that regard. And then check this out. I always change the inner sleeve, so this is not the original inner sleeve. But look at this record, man. Look how clean, and it doesn't even look like it was ever played. I tell you, my local landed on a gold mine when this guy came in and traded in tons of records. My wallet's hurting, because I've been picking up all types of cool, rare stuff since that happened. It did have the inner, by the way, of course. I did say I changed the inner. A little bit wrinkled. That actually happened just from, I don't know, wasn't there when it happened. But I'm not worried about that. What I was going to say, that sometimes happens even just in the packaging. So I don't know if that's the way this album was treated. I wouldn't be surprised to hear that that's just how it arrived. But who knows, right? So yeah, this was a cool find for me. I like Heart's music, and to be able to get myself an OG and pretty much near mint condition across the board, I was super excited about. Now, that particular album from them was a commercial success. It was a comeback album for Heart, really launching them into the mainstream power ballads and rock anthems. So it is a good album. I know a lot of people get caught up in Little Queen, but this one is a really good album as well. Okay, the next album takes me back to the late 90s. This was all over the radio. Songs from this album were all over the radio. This might take you guys back as well. It is Kid Rock, Devil Without a Cause. Battlewood Bada, or whatever how the heck you want to say it, and Cowboy, Devil Without a Cause, of course. I'm a Bull God. This has just got so many cool songs. Welcome to the Party. Really cool songs. This is from 2015. This is the Euro press. It sounds awesome, by the way. Really love the way this record sounds. And this was his breakout album, man. Really fused that rock, hip-hop, country all into one, making a genre-defining hit of the late 90s. And quite frankly, it is a very nostalgic album for me. I forgot where I found this at. I definitely found this shopping, but I completely forget where I found it out. I can't remember if it was my local. I probably was, or it was somewhere else. I don't know, but super happy to be able to add that one to the collection. Okay, next up, this one was a little bit new for me. I was at Record City in Las Vegas, and I picked this album up. Actually, they recommended it to me. We got in a long chat about music. We got into different types of music, and this was one that they recommended, and it was actually a great recommendation. I had a chance to listen to it earlier today, and I gotta say, good recommendation. So I'm sharing it with you because if you're looking for some new music, this is one to take a look at. This is I don't know, Las, or I don't know how do you even say this, but this is a really cool album. These guys is a modern band with a throwback sound, kind of blending sort of surf rock and garage rock with a California vibe. The songs that stood out to me were the first one, Catamaran, was a really good song. I like that one. And the other one was Tell Me What's on Your Mind, or I think were the two songs that stood out to me. But this was just really cool. It was really cool to get a recommendation from a record store, put it on your turntable, and it was like a solid recommendation. It's like I only knew them for just chatting for a little bit of time, but they nailed my taste, I guess, down perfectly. So I was really happy about that. Okay, another AP75 that got slipped in here a little bit later. Sorry about that. These aren't really any particular order, but this is the T-Bone Walker T-Bone Blues from the AP75. So this just came out this year, 2024. Great tracks on here as well. Stormy Monday Blues is one that comes to mind. T-Bone Blues is another one that comes to mind. You also got T-Bone... what is it? T-Bone Shuffle is another good song on here. And, this is, if you're not familiar with T-Bone Walker, he's often credited as the father of the electric blues guitar. He influenced a bunch of legends like B.B. King and Jimi Hendrix. So if you're not familiar with T-Bone's work, this is one that you might want to go ahead and pick up, especially if you can get the AP75 version of it. Sounds really good. Of course, all cut from analog. It's just such a great album. Okay, the next one's a little bit tragic album here. This was also I picked up when I was at Record City, and this is Ritchie Valens. This is his self-titled album. This particular pressing is the 2013 Euro pressing. It sounds really good. It has the 180 gram sticker on there for easy identification. But I was first off, let me just say, I was a little bit worried that this wasn't going to sound good. It actually sounds really good. It sounds as good as I think you're going to find this album. The hit tracks on here that you're going to probably know are La Bamba. What Ritchie did was kind of take the Mexican traditional song, but made it more of a rock song, and did a fantastic job. It was kind of like his breakout single that he did. And also Donna was another one that really did well, and both are on this particular album. Now, what's tragic about this, if you don't know the story, Ritchie Valens, Buddy Holly, and JP Richardson, which was also known as the Big Bopper, all went on an airplane and they crashed. And all three of them plus the pilot died. And if you've ever heard the song The Day the Music Died by Don McLean, that's actually referring to this incident. This is the incident that he's singing about when he's talking about the music dying, is that all of these musicians that were really, just amazing. They were way ahead of their time. They were huge followings. This was the group. All of that just all at once. Tragic day. And even though, Ritchie's career was tragically cut short, man, his impact on rock and roll has just transcended through time. He's had so much impact. It just remains profound. And I'm happy to finally get a really decent pressing and mastering of this in the collection. Sorry, I feel like I might be a little bit off camera. I apologize. I don't know, maybe my chair got moved around. I don't know. Next one up is T.O. This is the Prestige Jazz Quartet. If you're not familiar with T.O., he did a bunch of work with Miles Davis, production work with Miles Davis, and this album kind of breaks him out as an artist as well. Great album to kind of explore new tastes. I feel like the reviews on this one's a little bit mixed. Some people like the sound, some people don't. I don't know. I think it's different. It's nice. It's a modern concept of ballad jazz music. You know, I mean, it's worth giving at least a stream. Music like this might be worth giving a stream before you go commit. If you're a huge Miles Davis fan, getting a T.O. album is something that maybe you want to do just to be connected to the artist. I don't know. That's up to you. We all do things. Okay. Next up is an R&B singer that, man, I've just been, I don't want to say in love with because I don't want to sound that way, but man, I've just been in love with. I'm just going to say it. It's Keb Mo. This is Good to Be. I've been on this hunt of collecting his discography, and I'm getting there. I'm almost there. This is from 2022. This is US. It's good to be home again. And man, let me just tell you, this is some amazing music from a songwriter standpoint for putting together tracks, etc. This is an awesome album. The songs that you probably want to, kind of take a listen to is Sonny and Warm is a really good song. I would definitely recommend that. And Good to Be Home Again is the other one that I would listen to, which is kind of the self-titled track from this album. Now, if you're not familiar, Keb Mo blends blues, he blends roots and Americana, and just captivates audience with this like warm authenticity as an artist, as a performer. He's got some real lyrics written down. Sometimes his lyrics are super funny. They'll actually make you laugh if you're paying attention. Sometimes they're really sad as well. It's very emotional experience, and if you haven't give Keb Mo a spin, I highly recommend it. That album, Oklahoma, is also a fantastic album from him. Suitcase is a great album. His self-titled Keb Mo album is also another great album, and I just don't think you can go wrong inside of his discography. Okay, the next album up is one that is another nostalgic album, another hip-hop record from the 90s that really brings back this refreshing time of summer every time I get into it. I did talk about this album on the Vinyl Community 20 question tag, or whatever the video was called. I think it was called the Summer Vinyl Tag. I did open up with this album, but I didn't have a chance to talk about it. This is the DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince Homebase from 91. This is the UK pressing. And of course, it's got Summertime and Ring My Bell. Both songs that still stand the test of time, that you can still hear on the radio, that still is played in movies, etc. I mean, I don't know. There is something about the Summertime song when you hear it and it's on the radio and it's hot outside and you got the window down or something like that, or you're on the beach or whatever. I don't know, man. It is summer to me. That marks summer for me. But yeah, I don't know. I love this album. This sounds really good. I'm super happy with the way it sounds. I love the fact that I found one that was pretty clean. Looks brand new. It doesn't even look like somebody ever played it. Even the vinyl's really clean. So that was a great ad for me. Sometimes I just love collecting nostalgic records. Now, I know a lot of folks right now aren't collecting, Will Smith album, DJ Jazzy Jeff albums, Fresh Prince albums, because of the whole incident with, the slap heard around the world. Sometimes you gotta separate the artist from the incident. I'm not going to say I agree or disagree with what Will did. That's not my place to say. I'm not the judge. But I can tell you, man, I'm going to enjoy some music, and that is an album I really enjoy. Okay, the last album I have to share with you is one that I'm excited about because it's the first time I added them to my collection, but I've been a fan for a while, and it's Thievery Corporation. I don't speak Portuguese, so I apologize, but I believe this is Saudade or Saudade or something of that nature. Sorry, I apologize if I have any folks on here that speaks Portuguese. I can't even say the word. The tracks on here, Sola and Acita, is the A5 and B13, Depth of My Soul, are two tracks worth streaming on this one. This was a record, again, I picked up over at the Record City. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, though. I hate to say that, even though I'm super excited to have this, is because I've been caught up in trying to figure out what pressing this is. I put the runouts in Discogs, and it doesn't come out with anything. It definitely doesn't match any variant that I already have. The labels and stuff are different. So I'm a little bit at a loss right now. This just might be a new entry, but once I get it keyed in or figure out where it belongs, then I'll get it on the turntable and give it a listen. So I wish I could have gave you a little bit more inspiration. I'm reading the the text on the album and talking to you at the same time, like, because that's a smart thing to do. I wish I'd give you more information about the pressing. Unfortunately, I can't. So anyway, I'm super happy to have the Thievery Corporation in the collection. I'm looking forward to giving that a spin. I hope that you enjoyed. I shared 16 new albums with you, or at least new to me albums that I'm excited. Most of them I've listened to. There's still a handful, like that Thievery Corporation I have not, but I'm excited to. I have so many more records to share with you. You have no idea. I got another stack of records that you can't see right here behind me, right here. A whole bunch of new stuff. Plus there's some stuff on the wall. Plus there's some stuff coming in. Plus I'm going to be doing some shopping next week. So golly, there's going to be more and more content. But it's not always about me. I love knowing what you're doing in the community. What are your latest ads? What did you just get your hands on? Tell me in the comments below. I love hearing from you. Listen, it's time for me to get another cup of coffee. I've been blabbering for too long. I need something to drink. So I'm going to go make a cup of joe, and I'll see you on the next video.